Hello, folks. So, recently my stomach has been doing really badly, and I've been having loose motions and basically diarrhea or dysentery or whatever people call it. So, and this has been the second time in last 2 weeks. It has been happening, and so I got drips twice, basically IV fluids. I think that's the technical term. Interestingly, one thing that I noticed was today I realized was uh, they actually took a blood test also for me for a complete blood count. I think it's called CBC in short, and also I think it's called Vidal something. I have to check what it is for. I'm guessing for typhoid and complete blood count to check my platelet count to see if I have dengue or something. Interestingly, so usually they give you IV fluids through your veins from your arm, like from the back of your palm, right? And today they took the blood test also from here just before giving the IV fluid because they don't. I guess they don't want to poke around many places. Usually they poke, in your arm or here, and like basically just behind your elbow and get it out, right? Get out the blood for your blood test. And usually they take the blood out of the vein, or that's what I believe. uh, do veins have blood or arteries or both of them? I don't know. I have something to check. I think one of them is to uh, move blood into the heart, and one of them is about moving blood into the organs. So yeah, I think there's like basically which way it goes to. Is it going to the heart or is it going to the organs? I think that's what arteries and veins are about. I'm not sure. I'm going to read about it. I've actually read like lot of biology after growing up than in school. Though they taught a lot of stuff in school. Though I don't remember them, or I didn't learn enough. I didn't learn properly, or I didn't learn at all. But the interesting thing is, I was just wondering, why wouldn't they give IV fluid just over here in my arm, just behind my elbow? And why wouldn't they take blood test? Why wouldn't they take blood from my behind my palm? Like why IV fluid behind my palm and why blood test? Like if I was doing only one of those, why IV fluid only through the palm, behind the palm? Why not through the behind the elbow? And why blood test only from behind the elbow, the vein from there, and not from behind the palm? What is the sanctity there? I think it can be done, but there must be some reason, I think. So yeah, I was just wondering about that. I just wanted to capture that and talk about it. And also, I think dengue, malaria, typhoid, and all that is in the rounds wherever there is water stagnation, wherever there is rains and whatnot. So I'm in Bangalore, Karnataka, in India, and it's been raining for some time now, and people have been affected by dengue. And then dengue can spread apparently when a mosquito bites someone infected with dengue and then bites someone else, or through blood transfusion and whatnot. And like there are multiple ways, I guess. This is one way that I know, through mosquitoes. Basically, a mosquito biting someone infected with dengue and then biting someone else who's not infected. And apparently there are different strains for dengue, and apparently once you're infected with dengue, it doesn't mean that you can't get reinfected. You can, probably with not the same strain. But if it's a different strain, apparently it gets worse and whatnot. I've read something. I just read very little, but it's important to understand that whatever your whatever ailment you have or disease you have, say, I don't know if it's the right term to call ailment and all that. Say dengue as a disease, whatever disease you have, it's important to understand it so that you are capable of tackling it and fighting it out. I've read that if you have a good immune system, you shouldn't get affected much. Like if you have, I think immune system is all about white blood cells, I think. So if you have good immune system, so yeah, for which basically diet and then I think exercise. Even today I was reading about how weight-based training can actually help with even bone disorders. Right? It's been 2 months since 2 months since I did weight-based training, so weight training. So I think I need to do some weight training at least to ensure that I don't get bone disorders and whatnot. Apparently, it's hard to find out some bone disorders, and this one I can't remember the name. But apparently, you will find it out. That disorder you will only be able to find it out when you have a fracture and realize that your bone density has gone down and whatnot, something like that, right? So I saw this on LinkedIn. Interesting that my LinkedIn feed is all about like informational stuff. People make fun of me saying, "You don't know this? Like, don't you know this happened?" And whenever I ask them, "What is this about? How do you know all this?" And then they're like, "You are more active on LinkedIn than all of us, man." The thing is, social media it understands what kind of content I consume, and I follow too many people, mostly people who put a lot of quotes and informational content. And so yeah, I mean, I get that content only. It's curated content for me based on how I interact with content. So for them, I guess they interact with content like who is firing, who is hiring, or what is the controversial stuff going around, right? So they are able to see that, while I am able to see mostly the informational stuff, and I consume only a bit and not too much. And even with that, I feel like it's a lot. It's too much. But yeah, I mean, but interesting stuff even on LinkedIn about the biology and health. And there was some stuff that I recently noticed about something about menopause causing problems for women and even men, apparently, how it affects men, and how menopause can actually shrink the size of the brain. That's like crazy. And how it can cause, say, like how it can make people depressed and whatnot. I don't know if it's clinical depression, but how it can make people depressed and whatnot and mentally unstable. So menopause, like for example, my mom has gone through menopause, and currently she basically, menopause is the idea that you stop menstruating. You stop menstruating, so there are no menstruation cycles anymore after that. This usually happens when you get old. So once you have a menopause, like my mom has had menopause, I think my aunt, many people have had menopause in my family. I wonder what they went through, loneliness and whatnot. I don't know. Like there are many things that people go through apparently after a menopause. I mean, menstruation itself is a hard time. Like after you start menstruating, after you hit puberty, since your teens and whatnot, and then till you get to 40s, 50s and whatnot, every menstrual cycle you go through it through like there are hard phases for each and every woman. And then after menopause also you go through hard phase. It's like very sad stuff, very crazy stuff, but we can't control much, I guess. We can only see how we can actually get through it. Apparently there are diets to help push the menopause and push it away for like say 3 years and whatnot, and also how to deal with the after effects of menopause and side effects and whatnot, like whatever happens after a menopause, like diet and whatnot and exercise, I guess. I don't know, but interesting stuff. I think it's important for people to learn about the body, especially about the different stuff that they are going through, say menstruation, menopause, or if you have dengue, if you have fever, or if you have constipation, if you have loose motion, if you have vomiting, if you have headaches. Apparently there are so many kinds of headaches, normal kinds of headaches, and then there is migraines and whatnot, and then there are like some things called varicose veins. If you have those, you can actually learn about it. It's important to learn about what you have, and it will help you tackle and understand yourself better and your body better. It's always a good idea to learn your body and your biology of your body. most of us are similar but not the same though. We have different genes and whatnot, and DNAs and whatnot, I guess. So, but at a high level, it's similar, say, like sometimes same also. But yeah, everyone has different stuff going on in their body, in their mind, in their different organs and whatnot. So it's important to understand how your body works, how you think and whatnot, and work based on that, and basically not hinder that and not go against it, but instead go along with it, and also ensure that you are not affected as much as possible by it, affected negatively as much as possible by it, but instead are able to deal with things instead of just cope with things. Coping means just short term, dealing means long term and more smart and wise. So yeah, that's all I had for this video. I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.